Cool. Tell us your story. What's your background?
Yeah.
You were born and then what happened?
My name's Anish Dave. I grew up in New Jersey, first generation Indian. I had a degree in finance. My parents were hoping I'd be a doctor. And guess what happened? When they took blood at 10 years old, I passed out. Guess what I did? I went to Rutgers Engineering School, because when you're a doctor, you're not a doctor, you go to engineering school, right? And after engineering school, I said, I don't want to be an engineer. And I hated the cold weather. So I left New Jersey, went to school at USF, got a degree in finance. I was going to work in banking for a while until I read Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki. And I realized my dad is poor dad, financial analyst for 35, 40 years. Mom's an accountant. And I was on the path. So got my mortgage license, started a mortgage company, started building a portfolio. I was up to 28 properties, over $3 million in the height of the market.
Tampa? In which market? In Tampa?
No, actually in South Florida. And I was up to $3 million. I call it the single guy starter kit, meaning I lived on South Beach on the Venetian Causeway, place on the water. I had a Range Rover, and it was about $15,000 a month to run me back in 2008. And I was good with my money.
And then what happened?
And then guess what happened, right? So, of course, I said, if you guys believe in God, I believe in God, or a higher power. I said, please, God, let me be done at 40. I'm done working, not lose all my property. So I went from millions to actually filing bankruptcy February 10th, 2010. I said, I got to figure out this real estate thing, because I was a rehabber and I was a buy and hold guy. So I never heard of wholesaling, never knew about creative financing. And my parents said, hey, you tried it your way. Go back to corporate America. And as a good Indian son, I didn't listen to him.
You became a doctor.
Yep, right. I didn't listen to him. Slept on my cousin's couch. Started flipping houses, learning it, and did the local REIA, BPM REIA, which was REIA back then. I did their coaching program. One of their top students, bought the companies from my mentors. Fast forward today, I have the #1 coaching program in South Florida. And also I am president of National REIA now. That's 40,000 members nationally, 120 chapters and affiliates. I'm an expert also for PAC, Professional Athletic Community, wholesaling, rehabbing, 5,000 former athletes from NFL, baseball, women's basketball, rowing as their expert. And I've also been the first guest on NBC's Money Chat as the local housing expert. So that's the quick end of all the stuff I've done, besides being on the board of directors of a couple different things, and obviously being an investor, sell to rent.
Cool, yeah. But before we get into the business talk, What is your recharge ritual? Like, what do you do to like go back to normal? Is it walk to the beach? Is it meditate? Is it work out? What do you do to reload?
Yeah. So for me, I like working out. I had joined Orange Theory Fitness. I do that probably 3 or 4 times a week. The interesting part is I'm not a big workout guy, even though I played sports. So I complain on the way there. I do the workout, I complain on the way home, and I still feel better, right? And I do also walk on the beach. I live 2.2 miles away, so I'll do a walk on the beach and play hoops. On Fort Lauderdale, there's a basketball court. So I'll drink coffee, shoot some hoops in between, and and I still do meditation.
Let's get into it. So look, what I really wanted to pick your brain on was like, you have a different perspective than most of us. Have you figured out any traits that separates the ones that are like dreamers to the ones that actually start executing? What are common qualities or things like that you see over and over and over again after looking back? Like what separates investors from dreamers?
Yeah, so the big thing is I love people that are excited about real estate, and the challenge is most people, because of social media, or they have a friend that's in real estate that does well, right? What I could tell you is I probably get 4 to 5 calls a month of people losing money on deals. They don't go on Bigger Pockets and say, hey, Alex, I just bought that place and lost 40 grand.
But they learn from that. But they learn,
right? And sometimes they don't. And I have one friend of a friend, they did 11 deals, rehab deals, and they lost money on 11 deals. And their answer was, it was a learning lesson each time. So, my thing is, hey, you got to get a mentor, right? So you're going to pay for this one way or another, whether it's time or money or both. So the fastest way to any business, real estate, investing, you name it, is to get a mentor. I have a couple mentors. I'm also in masterminds where I'd say in the last 3 years, I've invested about $250,000 on myself, because I want to get to play a bigger field. And the big common thing that I always see for successful investors, they're okay with no's, right? So meaning, yeah, you're going to try to get that deal. People are going to say no to you. Don't take it personal, right? And you got to keep building on it. And it's just repetitions. And what I mean by that is it's not that you become smarter, it just becomes easier. The analogy I like using is when you got your driver's license, right? And you're 16 or 17, whatever state, you're like, 8 and 10, I'm doing this, following the speed limit, all the above, right? And now at over 50 years old, Alex, I don't want to tell you what I do while I drive, right? I shave my head, eat a sandwich. And the real truth is, I'm kidding, guys. The truth is that you're just, even though your reflexes are worse, you're just more comfortable. So it becomes easier. And the big thing is for new investors is execution. Hesitation costs you money, is what I tell people. So if you're going to hesitate, should I make that offer? Make the offer, right? Go out there and get it under contract versus watching on the sidelines.
Question for you from the community that you're building and your everybody in your community. What are you seeing? Are people investing locally, or are they stepping out and thinking more digital, remote, other places with technology being where it is today? Like, what do you see?
Yeah, so the answer is both, right? It depends on your cup of tea. So if you're looking to build a portfolio, what we always say, the Midwest is cash flow. If you're in Ohio, you're in, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, you're going to get good cash flow. The challenge is the appreciation isn't that great, right? So the coast, when I say the coast, whether the East Coast of the United States, right, or the West Coast, you're going to have a ton of appreciation. The cash flow isn't that great. So you just got to figure out what you like. I like personally investing locally because I want to touch and feel it. Back in 2008, I did invest not locally. And when I say not locally, I'm talking about Tampa, which is only 4 hours away. When there were problems, guess what? Who had to drive on the weekend and fix stuff, right? So for me, I love our market, especially in Florida, because there's a lot of movers and shakers. The appetite's always there for big money. And, you're going to always have competition. That's just the way it is. Some of the people I know that invest, they're afraid of competition. I welcome the competition because you get better at it.
Cool. Are you seeing any creative strategies popping up, whether it be BRR, flips, or rentals, like creative finance, lease backs, lease to own? There's all sorts of stuff. Are you seeing anything creative over the last, let's call it 2 years that you see working?
Yeah, so a lot of people, definitely the creative financing end of it, where the subject to, where they're taking advantage of those low rates from a couple of years ago. So 2021, it wasn't uncommon for you to get a mortgage for 2.5%, maybe 3.5%. There's they may have some equity, they may not, right, on that end of it. And so what we're seeing is on the creative financing, if you actually understand how to do those deals, it's an easy way to pick up more properties is number one. And the second end of it, if you actually know creative financing, and then you also have cash, right? So what I like doing is like 3 or 4 different offers, 3 creative financing and a cash. And then they're going to say, Alex, you're going to say to me, hey, Anish, man, I don't understand this subject to, this lease back. What was your cash offer again? I'll take that, right? So that's number one. The second thing in our South Florida or Florida market, the pre-foreclosures in South Florida are up 25%. Yeah. Only 2% are for sale. So as moving as Dade County, Broward County, there's 16,000 pre-foreclosures in Dade County. 2% are for sale. So the key is really off market. So if you're out there trying to get deals on the MLS, I'm a licensed agent, it's not going to get you anywhere. You gotta do the hard work, get to the homeowner and talk to them. And I'm going to also I love AI. I use it a ton in my business. And the thing I'm telling people now that what you have to be really careful, it reminds me, you might be too young for this, is when YouTube first came out. And what I mean by that is, hey, why are you going to pay for coaching? You can learn on YouTube, right? So now it's the same thing with AI. Well, hey, you can learn on AI. It's still not closing your deals. So it's a great supplement on marketing, all the other stuff. At the end of the day, when you're selling a house or buying a house and you're face to face, that's how you're going to get the deal.
How about when it comes to marketing? Any channels you're seeing are working better? Like we're seeing lots of LM marketing generation things for us. People are searching for answers instantly, but when it comes to your local investor, how are they generating deal flow? Like what are they doing for you?
Yeah, so it's pretty interesting. So some of the guys I know, they're still doing direct mail and they're spending 50 to 100,000 a month.
Yeah,
Right. So yeah, so the direct mail, depending on your budget, it's 2%. Locally, you might have seen these ads like Bobby Suarez, Bobby, like he's spending a ton of money that way. I could tell you on Google pay-per-clicks, super expensive in our market, tertiary on it. Our students, we're actually knocking on doors and calling them. Like it's really, it's a slower process and the deals are way bigger. We're cutting out the middleman of agents in between, commission based, and some agents may not have the best interest for their seller. They just don't know it. So we've seen it, like it just depends. For us personally, that's one of the things we are using a company for AOE. So when they search on ChatGPT, even on the REIA, like we're popping up at the end of it. So we're adding, and of course we do traditional SEO, but that's really more organic. For me personally, I have a massive network. So I got probate attorneys, foreclosure attorneys. My job is I fix problems. So I have code enforcement even call me saying, hey, I know you could deal with this stuff, help me out. So that's years of experience and a massive network. And I've been able to really enjoy doing those kind of deals versus, what the other traditional stuff I used to do.
When you talk about underwriting and looking at assets, what are common mistakes that your students or, your community's making today? Like anything that's really popping up?
Man, the after repair value of what they think they could sell it for, man. It's not 2021 anymore. It's not, like with the days of when you get 20 offers and sight unseen, it's
all cash. Right?
All cash. And so they're always picking the top 1 or 2 comparables. I'm like, well, what about these other 6? Well, that's number 1. Number 2, if they're doing long-term investing, right? They want to underwrite it. They're not underwriting it like a bank. They're not adding 25% vacancy. They're not adding deferred maintenance.
Deferred maintenance and deferred and the real
or my favorite is insurance, right? They're still on the old, hey, this is what it is. And I'll give you a perfect example. One of my friends, they bought a 24 unit building, North Miami Beach, needed work, they're going to fix it, underperforming. They did all that. The insurance went from $12,000 to $82,000, right? So now, guess what? They didn't underwrite for that.
There's no rental races that are going to cover that. Zero.
And they were underwriting at 3.5%, 4%. Yeah, that's when you bought it. Like what are we at now, right? 6, 7, 8. So I see that end of it. I see banks. I met the CEO of Amerit Bank here locally, regional bank, and they were actually even talking about these A+ borrowers on their loan being due, right? It's a 3-year balloon, 5-year balloon. They got to refinance it, and they're coming in with money to refinance.
A cash in refi, which hasn't been a thing in 20 years.
Yeah. So those are the things that, especially in our market, they're not looking at those other costs. The other thing I could also talk about is, short-term rentals here in South Florida, Airbnb. Depending on the HOAs, depending on a lot of different things, it's legal, it's not legal. And when you have 10 Airbnbs in one area, now you have 50, right? So they weren't ready for the other competition happening. And so the good operators are great, doing great. The mom and pop, right? Yeah, my wife and I, we have one, we want to do this. It's not making any money. And they want to get out of real estate. It's just an interesting aspect. And the mistake I see with them, they don't underwrite it as a long-term rental, right? Usually, I don't care if you're doing short-term rentals, you should still underwrite as a long-term rental in case something happens.
Looking for exclusive off-market deals with tenants in place and prepaid rent? Visit sell2rent.com. Earn cash flow and equity from day one.
And when it comes to financing, we're talking about banks. What is your community using for financing right now? Like when they require assets?
Yeah, so a lot of it, if they're obviously the fix and flip, there's hard money guys, right? Those guys move pretty fast. I think right now the biggest popular financing for investors are the DSCR loans.
Yep.
Those are like blowing up everywhere. Everyone's got, when they got all this equity trapped in their property, they want to take the money out. So I see a ton of DSCR loans. And if you're truly a good investor, right, you can't do conventional loans at all. And on the conventional side, you could only do for Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, maybe 10 investment loans. They're going to need W-2s, pay stubs, 1040s.
6 months seasoning,
And the thing is, what I tell people is, if you could qualify for those kind of loans and you're self-employed, I'm not saying a W-2 guy, doctor, lawyer, all that stuff, you're self-employed, you got to get a new tax advisor. You got a terrible tax advisor, CPA, because that just shows that you're paying way too much taxes on the front.
Got it. Let's talk about what a good deal looks like today. I know you're in South Florida. It's a completely different market than, you go up 2 hours. What are people looking at for cash on cash or any of that? Walk me through some numbers.
Yeah. So for me, on the wholesale side, right, where we're not even fixing the houses, we're averaging almost $40,000 per wholesale deal.
Amazing.
That net. I only talk net numbers, by the way.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the people that always, especially with a finance background, the gross numbers, I laugh about it, hey, you have a $5 million business and you have $5 million in expenses. Great.
Yeah.
So wholesale deals, we've been averaging 40,000, and I'm talking buying these houses for less than 300 grand. I just picked up a 2-1 in Fort Lauderdale, so area for $133,000.
And are you closing on them and then wholesaling, or are you doing?
Yeah, I'm closing on them, and I don't mind, I'll fix them. So for me personally, I want to make a 25% return on any rehabs. I'm not adding additions, right? So I'm always worried about the market, right? The longer the rehab takes, the larger market conditions, the cost of money that happens. So again, my rehabs are usually 3 or 4 months on that. So I personally want to make 25%. I have buyers that buy for me, they're happy to make 10%. And the reason is they need to keep their workers working, right? Yeah. So they're like, hey, I don't care if I'm all in 350 or 400, as long as I make 40 grand, I'm good. I would never do that, but I understand why they're doing it.
Different infrastructure, different team, different culture. They have their team. Yeah.
And so for me, at the REIA side, we built a 10,000 plus cash buyers list. So I have other buyers that they can't find properties. They're willing to rehab it and then hold on to it, right? So they're not looking at the outlay and they're willing to pay more because they're building they have a different strategy than I do when it comes to that. So it depends on, the IRs. And I also do a lot of tax saving ways to invest in real estate. I buy stuff through my Roth IRA. So to give you a good idea, so last year I paid less than 3% of my income. The reason is I'm buying stuff in my Roth IRA, my self-directed Roth IRA. So we had a deal with a student. He bought something, he wholesaled it. He was going to buy it in his LLC with an ordinary income. The profit was $145,000 net profit. Instead, he bought it in his Roth tax-free. He did 2 deals, 4 months, $400,000 tax-free. Ordinary income, we're going 120 grand. I also do infinity banking. I buy stuff through my life insurance. So my IRR is different. My investments, it's over 23.
I mean, you're engineering. Yeah, you're thinking about the long term of it. Absolutely. Yeah. In your community right now, the REIA community, are they thinking longer term hold? Are you thinking flipping and getting in access to the market? What is the sentiment of the group?
Yeah, so a lot of them are, obviously what's happening a little bit in the politics in the world. People are a little nervous. That's what I'm saying. So they're worried long term unless there's enough. They're okay with long term investing, but the numbers have to be better. They got to buy it at a steeper discount. Otherwise, people are just moving in and out on the rehabs. In the South Florida market, it's different. Obviously, I have friends through National REIA. All those guys are buy and hold, and they're happy making 8% in Indiana or 10% in Ohio. But what I told them was you bought that place for 40 grand 15 years ago. Maybe it's 100 now if you're lucky, and that's only in the last couple of years, right? So what they don't. This is the thing that when I ask them, right, they're like, "Oh yeah, I sold it. I'm up this much." I'm like, "Did you add in your new roof?"
Yeah, all in costs. Yeah, you're totally.
Yeah. So a lot of guys don't add any of their CapEx expenses, right? I did this, I did that. I'm like, yeah, and right. So as a true number guy or a true investor, you have to know those numbers. So again, it just depends on the sentiment. I'm seeing, I still have the people who are buying holds and they want a bigger discount because they are doing DSCR loans and they're doing a ton of BRRRR stuff. So a couple of guys are doing BRRRR, DSCR loans on the BRRRR, and then doing short-term rentals.
And then what are you seeing for property management? Are they trying to do it themselves? Are they going third party?
Yeah. Man, I have to tell you, the mom and pop people, right? I'll just be nice about it. I'm Indian, so I can say this. They're just being too cheap. right? Like they want to squeeze every single cent out of it, and they have no life, right? They're literally, you can be, I've been on vacation. Oh my God, this happened. What am I gonna do with this, right? Instead of actually doing it, the more professional or people really doing this as a full-time business, 100% property management.
Third party, yeah.
Yeah, third party. Like that, to me, when I buy any long-term, I already add that in my numbers. Property management, preferred
For
maintenance.
single-family homes right now, what is the going rate for a property manager in
It's
regards to 10?
Yeah. And you could get 8 if you got a bunch, right? In general. So, but usually I'm seeing 10. The companies I know, if you have more than 10 properties, they'll go to 8. The challenge is also what they'll add in are all the properties in the same area.
And also all the other fees. A lot of times they bill you for everything on top of that's not property management. How about on the tenant issues? Are anything, you know, with the economy being where it is, consumer credit being where it is anything popping up for like the community as to, I don't know, bad debt or a vacancy or anything popping up right now?
Yeah, so what I'm noticing, right, like right now, like credit scores have been a challenge. I've seen it with some of the HOAs. Also, I've seen one up, they want a 720.
Oh, you mean they're going up? They're
going up, yeah. So people are having a trouble with the HOAs. The one-on-one, right? Like if it was my house, like if you do enough background check, pay stubs, I might get, instead of first and last, I might get 4 months. I've seen that happen also. We have seen some of the people I know, they are having trouble with people paying on time, or they need a discount, or, you know, like finances are tight. So they are seeing that. Personally, what I thought was pretty interesting was I have some friends that have high-end stuff, and they of all things, they had to evict them versus their lower-end Section 8 people, right? So Section 8, guaranteed money. I used to have a ton of Section 8. I loved it. They were great tenants. I got paid on the first of the month, no drama. And the reason is usually like a mom, a couple of kids. And what I used to love about that is if they really screw up, you could call Section 8 and they could lose their voucher.
You just got to know the game. You got to know the yearly inspection and all that. And usually there's a lot more wear and tear in the properties just because there's a lot of people a lot of times. But yeah. I used to love Section 8 also.
Yeah. It's just an interesting, and I think also what's really important is really using a true tenant screening company, right? Versus I've seen newbie investors not really have a true screening company. And what I mean by that, oh, you know, Alex, you got a great job. You make X. Here's a pay stub. Oh, you must be good. You seem nice enough. Your family, you know, and versus a true tenant screening as a business. And then, of course, you know, the other failures of renting out to a family member or that end of it, which, you know, I'm highly against. And, you know, the attitude is what I tell, which I learned this from my mentor, is if you lend out money to friends or family, just assume it's gone. What's interesting is tenants have become a lot smarter, right? They know, they could Google it, YouTube it, right? Like
GGP, give me an answer to this to delay the eviction, and print, send, delay. Absolutely.
I mean, they picked up their game. That's like, so on our side, on the landlord side, you gotta, you know, that's not where you want to cut the corners, right? It is like, you want to make sure your lease is really solid, right? So my tenants or my landlords that really do this for their own business, their rental contracts are unbelievably specific. It's like a book in there, right? So it's worth spending the money the one time and duplicating it.
Specifically in the time we are right now, you know, 2026, from your seat, any big signals you're seeing that really excite you? Anything that you're like, you know, I heard pre-foreclosures, anything else that you're like, I'm paying attention to that?
Yeah, so through National REIA, this is really cool what they did, which I thought was like, I didn't even think of this, and I can't remember the economist, so document
Come on, AI.
So you know what they talked about, which was something that never came up, was they were talking about gambling for young men between 20 and 30. Sports gambling, the amount of money that went up on that, and what they're worried about, how that's going to affect housing. Meaning they're using all their disposable income on gambling, right? So like if you're in that age group and you're saying, hey, I want to start a family and I want to buy a house, like what are they doing on, you know, will that lead to more rental defaults on rent, car payment? right? All that stuff, student loans. So that was something that they've been checking on, which I thought was pretty interesting. Bankruptcies are up also. So there's going to be definitely motivation. What I am also seeing, I mean, I'm up and down on this, obviously, with baby boomers, right? They're talking about, they have the greatest wealth. Are they downsizing? I don't know. I mean, sometimes they're like, I don't know if the numbers show it yet, right? Because there is some comfort of where they live. Like if it's paid off, do I really want to downsize? Okay, I get it. It's a big house. It's going to cost more. And to wait, they've been talking about this for a while. I just still haven't seen that shift that much in our market on the downside.
We're seeing a lot from colder states. We're still seeing it in Southern world. A lot of the north coming to a little bit more south to the Carolinas, Florida, Georgia, Arizona. But there's a lot of equity there. Yeah. There's people sitting on a whole lot of equities. Is what is going to happen?
Yeah, if they're smart, right? Like as a smart investor, with those people, like those would be perfect creative financing deals, right? If it's their investment property, they don't know what to do with the big chunk of money. They don't want to get hit with it. They like the payments. It's an easy way to create a finance on the purchase, do a wrap on the backside. So
are you seeing as a net influx or exit, more people coming into real estate or leaving real estate?
So on the realtor side, I see less, right? Like everyone's starting to realize it's actually hard to be it's a real job. You really have to have skill sets versus just being a realtor, I'm going to show something, right? Obviously with NAR changing the law on what's happening on commissions and all that other good stuff. So I think that's changed. I think on the investment side, I think there's a little bit less investors. And what I mean by that is some of the young guys I know, when I say young, they've been in the business 10 years. Yep. So they've never really seen a market tighten up, right? So they're like freaking out. They're like, no more bottles. Let's just see, what's happening on that end of it. And at the end of the day, on the new side, right, the W-2 people, working their jobs, the only way they have hope, right? Because they know they're at a job that they might get 5% raise, they might top off wherever they're at. And real estate still brings them generational wealth, right? So they're more like, hey, I could definitely do this. And they don't have the effect of, losing everything in 2008 or 10. Yeah, they've heard those stories. For them, you might as well talk about World War II, right? Like, oh yeah, back in the Depression days, in the 20s, right? And so for them, they're still excited. And then the other thing on the culture, and again, I'm Indian, my wife's Colombian, is you could also see culturally speaking, it's different too. And what I mean by that is, at least in my circle, I just seen a lot of Latin and Indian people that are more self-entrepreneurs. And they see real estate as a movement, as an and versus or. So whatever they're doing, they're saying, hey, I got a great business on this, and I want to get into real estate. This is how, right? I'm going to buy more properties. So
we're seeing, to piggyback on that from our insights, homes are not selling right now. Families aren't buying homes. They're just not, interest rates are where they are, and they don't want to eat the gap of the down payment right now. So we're seeing lots of investor movement, not so much, vacancy, not vacancy, but days on market is skyrocketing right now. We're excited because we only deal with investors, but like it's crazy seeing how fast cash flipped from the frenzy to everything stopped. And what's crazy to me, because I started in 07, so I'm not that old, but I started at a perfect time to learn. 6-7% interest rates are still cheap. Like that's cheap, free money. Give me money for 30 years at 7%. Cool, give me all of it. Like,
and you know what the funny part is, right? In the US, I don't know any other country that does 30-year loans.
30-year, no.
Right? Usually it's 20-30% down, 10 or 15 years.
Max,
max. Yeah, usually 10. That's what I see. Maybe 15, right? You could get, if you're a VA, 0% down, right? 3.5 FHA. And here, again, I love this country, and I feel like sometimes we're a bunch of crybabies. Like, put your big boy pants on. Yeah, rates will go up. Rates will go up. And again, like you're saying, 6-7%. It's not much. It's the same thing that, especially here in South Florida, the traffic. If I have one more person complain about the traffic, including me, right? And my point is, it's not going to change. So what? What are you going to do? Right?
That's why I moved to Naples.
Yeah, and that's the point, right? Like you have to like either that or hey, you're gonna be on the bright line. You're gonna listen to an audiobook while you're driving. You're gonna do that, like whatever that is. You don't just stop living your life. That's my point. So real estate investors got to put their big boy pants on. You know, even if rates go up to 18%,
there's
the
deals
numbers
that
they work.
I mean, deals happened in 1990 when the rates were 15%. So it's just pricing has to move.
Looking for exclusive off-market deals with tenants in place and prepaid rent? Visit sell2rent.com. Earn cash flow and equity from day one.
All right, let's get into the fun part of this. So crazy stories. I love war stories. Anything memorable that comes to mind, your first couple of deals or, you know, evictions that had to happen or fires. Those are war stories. Those are fun ones.
Yeah. So one, like, I thought this never happened to me before where we were buying a property and it was an older lady and she had a roommate. Well, the roommate didn't get along. They didn't get along and she had some liens on her house in Margate. And we said, okay, we'll give you a cash offer. You know, we'll talk about the liens. And it's the first time I ever did this. I had to evict the roommate, right? So they're living together.
She wasn't on the lease, right? The roommate wasn't on the lease.
Yeah. And so we had to do an eviction, right? And so the eviction letter had to go or was on the bedroom door, right? Not outside the house, on the bedroom door. And so my attitude was like, what do they do like when they're in the kitchen? Like, well, like what's the small, like he's still living there, she's still living there. Like what does that look like on that? So that was interesting. I never evicted a person while the other person was living there and buying the house. So that was pretty interesting. Had some violations, of course. Yeah, we went to the magistrate. 280,000. We got it down to 15. Of course, we told the homeowner, don't say anything. And of course, what did she say? I never got a letter. I never got this. There's literally a yellow sticker on the door, right? I mean, anyway, we got it down to 15,000. She paid half, and we wholesaled it and made $100,000. We sold it to Open Door, right? So that was an iBuyer back then. I sold one to Zillow before they went out of business. Did some, first of all, whatever they paid was stupid.
Crazy.
They needed a new roof. They did the rehab in 8 days. No new roof, no nothing. So what I didn't like about it was, you know, when I do rehabs, I know a family's going to live there, right? And to actually, you know, not really fix it where it's, you know, a young family doesn't know, pretty unethical, I thought. So like, I didn't like that end of it. And it was pretty interesting to see how these iBuyers, not knowing what the heck they're doing. I'm doing a video camera walking through, like, okay, that's it, you know, and yeah, you're going to close it. Yeah, and so that one kind of cracks me up. We did a short sale, on a person, this a couple years ago, and it was a guy and his girlfriend. So we were able to legally, you know, get him relocation money. Banks were giving out $3,000.
They do like a couple $1,000, yeah.
So we went there and we're doing the walkthrough, and now there's this girl there who answers the door. We're like, who are you? We just bought the house. And she's like, no, I live here. We're like, no, you're not on the deed, this. So she wouldn't leave, right? So now it's like, she's causing a scene. So the police come, right? So they come in and she goes, no, I live here. And so she went, this is the funny part. So she went into the house and she had mail with that address with her name on it. So the police were like, well, she legally lives here.
It doesn't matter, you got to go handle it. We can't just move her out.
So then she goes, right? So what's the deal on this, right? She's like, well, so-and-so, I forget what his name is. He got $3,000. Well, I need money to move. Like, we're not together. Where am I going to live?
So you ate it, right? You paid the $3,000.
Yeah, so we offered her $500, right? And so she left. But here's the funny part. She told us she had no place to live. She took the 500, she walked 3 doors down, and that's where she lived. So she owes us for $500.
But that's so not bad for the eviction costs and time. We used to do cash for keys all the time just to like move on and get the asset and do all that. Yeah. You bring back some good memories. Good memories for me also.
I mean, I've done a house that actually, what's it called? A Sinkhole in Plantation. I had no idea that neighborhood had a bunch. And I was relatively new to the real estate side, not as experienced, definitely no sinkhole experience. We got it under contract. We already, you know, like there's a ton of room in it. We're closing it, you know, and I got the paperwork saying that, you know, they fixed the sinkhole, the foundation, and there was a guarantee on it. So like, oh, we must be good. Contractor goes out there. There's no real guarantee. company's out of business, of course, right? I did the work on it. And I asked my contractor, I said, are you sure the foundation, they said it's fixed. He goes, Anish, puts his arm around me, which is never good, right? He had a tennis ball in his truck. He put it down on the ground and it just started going down, down, down. He's like, there you go. The floor is not level. So luckily we had so much room in it. We were able to wholesale it, still make about 25 grand on it. But, you know, like we were thinking we are going to make 100, you know, like, man, we got it at this really stupid number. So, you know, to do a Sinkhole deal, I could say I've done one of those too.
I've never done that. That one is new to my book. Okay, let's wrap it up. So I like to end with this story, with this question always, which is like, let's say you were brand new to real estate, you just graduated college, and you put together $50,000 in your job, and now you're like, you know, I want to get into real estate. If you were in 2026, how would you invest those first 50K? Like, how would you do it?
Yeah. So even if you're like, you know, 2026, and if I was young and hungry like that, first of all, I would get involved with any real estate investor association. So you got to be in the right room, right? So there are REIAs all around the country. NationalREIA.org has approved chapters where they do background checks on owners like me. We have to give financials. So you need to be in the right room is number one. Second thing is, again, I would pay for a mentor, right? To make mistakes. Some of the challenges even I had is, you know what you're doing, we're friends, can you mentor me? And the challenge is when you're really good at this business, you don't have time to mentor. And you can't, you know, if I'm not paying you, I can't really come at you and be like, man, as soon as you pay someone, it gets you accountable and it gets them accountable, right? So that's important. So the idea of getting to real estate with no money, I just don't believe in it. You have to have the right software, whether it's REIFax, PropStream, whatever you're using to find data. The second is you got to make offers, right? And if you do it correctly, you could get out of any contract with inspection periods, all the above. So talk to sellers, make offers on there, right? Make sure you have a power team, right? This is not a one-man show. Find your realtor, your insurance guy, your money guy, all the above. And, you know, don't think that just because you're young or the market, don't listen to all that noise, right? So 2008, I was losing everything. So I thought the market was horrible. Well, guess what? I have some friends that are hard money lenders and they made millions, right? And so even now they're like, oh, the market's too competitive this. And I'm like, when they ask me how's the market, I'm like, it's fantastic. You know why? Because I'm actually doing deals. Don't listen to my parents. I love them to death, but they're not entrepreneurs. So a lot of times, if you're from a W-2 family, non-entrepreneur family, they're going to tell you how dangerous and how risky it is to get into real estate investing. So find people that are doing well or doing what you want it to do and listen to them, right? So sometimes it's, I hate to say it's your family, your closest friends that are going to say that you can't do this. My dad, moms, they said that after I lost everything, go back to corporate America, and I didn't. And then, you know, what's funny is now they say, we knew you could always do it, right? So I was like, shoot, I wish I would have recorded that because I don't remember it that way. So.
And that was awesome. Thanks for the time. I think we all learned a lot from just your experience and being open and being vulnerable. So really, really appreciate it.
Appreciate it, Alex. Great to see you, man. Take care.